The thing about projectile vomiting is that it always, always, travels farther than you expect. Dave Martinez had learned this unpleasant truth during his 3 years as the night janitor at St. Luke's Children's Hospital in Cincinnati. And tonight's masterpiece was a record breaker. The kid had somehow managed to paint the entire pediatric urgent care waiting room with half-digested SpaghettiOs, creating a near-perfect arc from the entrance to the check-in desk. Dave had to respect the physics of it, even as he gagged behind his face mask. "At least it's not norovirus season," he muttered, swiping his mop across the floor. His wireless earbud buzzed with the familiar voice of a true crime podcast host, recounting some grisly murder, and for a moment Dave let himself zone out. There was something strangely soothing about violent crime stories. When you spent your nights cleaning up bodily fluids, the fluorescent lights hummed. The mop bucket squeaked and the hospital halls remained eerily still. The night shift was usually peaceful, assuming you ignored the occasional interior drama, or the ghost in the third-floor supply closet. Dave had named her Gladys. They had an understanding. She didn't knock over his cleaning supplies, and he pretended not to notice when she rearranged the bedpans. Then came the crash. A shattering explosion of glass and screeching metal cut through the silence. Dave yanked out his earbuds, sighed, and checked his watch. 2:47 a.m. Right on schedule for drunk college kids to be doing something dumb in the parking lot. If they're messing with Dr. Morrison's Tesla again. He grabbed his mop handle like a weapon and headed for the emergency exit. A visitor from, somewhere. The motion sensor lights in the parking lot flickered as Dave stepped outside. A thin layer of fog had rolled in from the Ohio River, giving the whole scene an unnecessary horror movie aesthetic. Dave rounded the corner by the ambulance bay and stopped dead. That was not a drunk college student. Sprawled across 3 parking spaces, including Dr. Morrison's reserved spot, which felt like karmic justice, was something that looked like the 7-foot-tall robotic praying mantis wearing battle-scarred armor. It was bleeding. Well, bleeding was a strong word. Leaking. Something bright. Blue. Was dripping from a nasty gash in its chest plate, pooling onto the asphalt in tiny glowing puddles. The alien's compound eyes flickered, and its bladed arms twitched as it struggled to move. Dave glanced at his employee badge, then back at the dying alien warrior. He exhaled. "You know," he said dryly, "when HR said this job would offer unique growth opportunities, I really don't think this is what they meant." The alien made a garbled, static sound, somewhere between a radio transmission and a dying hard drive. Dave pinched the bridge of his nose. "Man, I do not get paid enough for this." A janitor, a mantis, and a bad idea. The alien weakly reached for a device on its armor. A burst of that white noise crackled through the night air, followed by a cold, robotic voice. "Greetings. Earth Maintenance Technician, I am Combat Specialist Zki of the Manto Defense Force. As your species would say, I am in a bit of a pickle." Dave's eyebrows shot up. "The blue stuff leaking everywhere kinda gave that away," he said. "But hey, you picked a decent place to crash. We've got a whole hospital right here." He gestured vaguely toward the building. "Only problem? Terrible insurance network." The alien made a wheezing static sound. That might have been a laugh. "I am being pursued by space pirates," the voice translator crackled. "They have damaged my vessel. My medical systems are failing. My biofluid levels are reaching critical." Dave's brain stalled on 2 words. Space pirates. Not corporate raiders. Not government agents. Pirates. In space. Dave sighed. "Look, man, I'm just a janitor. The worst thing I deal with is Karen moms flipping out over expired vending machine snacks. Not intergalactic warfare." Another drip of blue biofluid hit the pavement, and then something clicked in Dave's head. A random, stupid memory from a late-night Wikipedia deep dive. "Oh, wait a minute. His eyes widened. I read this article about how O-negative blood has this weird universal protein structure. It's compatible with a ton of Earth mammals. You think it could work on, I don't know, you? Zacathrix's antennae twitched. Human hemoglobin-based circulatory fluid. That is an interesting hypothesis, the translator crackled, but highly irregular and potentially fatal. Dave grinned. Hey, I'm O-negative. Universal donor. He cracked his knuckles. You could say I'm about to become a universal donor to the universe. The alien warrior stared at him. Was that a joke? There's always time for bad jokes. Now shut up and let me save your exoskeletal ass. An experiment in questionable medicine. 10 minutes later, Dave returned with an sheeter armful of stolen hospital supplies. Of Akers bags, needles, a rolling vitals monitor. He'd sweet-talked Susan, the night charge nurse, into handing over. Susan. Dave, I swear to God, if you were treating an alien in the parking lot. Dave. Would you believe me if I said no? Susan. No. Dave. Fair enough. Dave set up the transfusion with the zero medical training, and a confidence level that could only be described as delusional. This is a terrible idea, Zacathrix muttered. Oh, absolutely. Dave slid the needle into his arm. But worst case, you die. Best case, we make history. Middle case, you start glowing and develop a taste for McNuggets. The first drops of BA human blood flowed into the alien system, and that's when things got really weird. Congratulations, you're now Midwestern. 20 minutes in, Zacathrix's Bauk's glowing eyes flickered. Her translator stuttered. Then, suddenly, "Oh, geez," she blurted. "I'm feeling a little wonky there, don't you know?" Dave blinked. "Did you just develop a Minnesota accent?" Zacathrix's mandibles twitched. "You betcha," she said, horrified. "And you know what? I could really go for some Cincinnati chili right about now." Dave all lost it. "Are you telling me human blood gave you regional dialects?" "Oh, for Pete's sake," she muttered, antennae twitching. Then a Warkstibitty's black spaceship she materialized above the parking lot. The New Space Pirates had arrived. A bureaucratic nightmare. What followed was a 2-hour battle. Not with muck lasers, not with Ostakos blades, but with Urkima's paperwork. Dave single-handedly dismantled their debt collection tactics, using aggressive Midwestern passive aggression and an encyclopedic knowledge of hospital billing loopholes. By sunrise, Zacathrix had declared intergalactic bankruptcy, and by noon, the entire Manto Empire had started speaking with Midwestern accents and craving ranch dressing. Dave just sighed. "Yeah," he muttered. "This still isn't the weirdest thing that's happened on my shift."